Controlling religion. Germany was a Christian country, and Hitler had kept his views very vague. He understood that a lot of his supporters were Christian, whether they were Catholic or Protestant. Hitler talked about something called positive Christianity. He wanted to try and appeal to both Catholics and Protestants, because both were quite large groups in Germany. He knew that the Nazi Party's opposition to communism would help them, because communists were atheists. I didn't believe in God, so he knew that would help them. The Catholic Church should have benefited from the Concordat signed in 1933 with the Pope, but Hitler couldn't leave Catholic schools, Catholic teachers to get on with their job, because they had to have the Nazi message in part of their lessons. So there was some conflict there. And by the late 1930s, hundreds of priests and nuns were arrested on various charges that were pretty unlikely, just because they weren't sticking to the Nazi message. The Protestant churches that was nearer the Nazis were all grouped together into the Reich Church. So many churchgoers accepted this. After all, many of them were Nazi supporters, wore their Nazi uniforms in church, so having a Church of the Reich, of Hitler's Reich, made sense. Some did object and formed their own separate church, saying that religion and God should be different from the state and the leader. This was a clear challenge to the power of the Nazi Party, and several hundred priests were arrested, the most famous one being Pastor Martin Niemöller. He was very outspoken on how religion and the Nazi Party don't really go together, how it's against God's teaching, and he spent 7 years in concentration camps. He did survive the war, but was kept under lock and key by the Nazis because, again, he wasn't towing the line.